Welcome to the channel Coin Vault X, and today we're diving into a coin that most Americans have held in their hands countless times without ever realizing what it could truly be worth. The 2000D Virginia State Quarter, a piece of pocket change from the dawn of a new millennium that carries within it the potential for a genuine financial discovery that could reshape how you view every single quarter you've ever encountered. I want you to think back to the year 2000, a time when the world was buzzing with Y2K anxiety, when the internet was still finding its footing in American households, when a gallon of gas cost roughly $1.50 and a quarter still meant something tangible in your daily transactions, when you could walk into any corner store and pull this exact coin from your change without a second thought. And here is where the story gets genuinely fascinating, because while millions upon millions of these quarters rolled off the production lines at the Denver Mint, a tiny fraction emerged in conditions so pristine, so extraordinarily well-preserved, that they have commanded prices at major auction houses that would make any seasoned collector pause and reconsider what they thought they knew about modern coinage. Let me be absolutely clear about what we're discussing here. This is not fabricated clickbait. This is not AI-generated nonsense flooding the internet with impossible promises. This is real, verified, documented auction data from Heritage Auctions, one of the most respected numismatic auction houses in the entire world, where a 2000D Virginia State Quarter in $55 condition realized a hammer price of $1,610 on May 5, 2004, a figure that transforms a 25-cent piece into a serious financial asset worthy of any sophisticated collector's attention. Now I know what many of you are thinking right now. You've seen countless videos claiming every common coin is worth a fortune. You've grown rightfully skeptical of exaggerated claims and impossible valuations that never hold up under scrutiny. And that skepticism is exactly what separates informed collectors from those who fall for every internet scam, which is precisely why I am leading with documented auction records, traceable sales data, and verifiable sources that you can independently confirm. Because at Coin Vault X, we build trust through transparency and verifiable facts, not through manufactured hype designed to generate views at the expense of your intelligence. The 2000 Virginia Quarter was the fifth and final release of the year 2000 in the enormously popular 50-state quarters program, featuring a reverse design by Edgar Stever III that depicted three ships sailing on the open water: the Susan Constant, the Godspeed, and the Discovery, vessels that carried the first English settlers to Jamestown in 1607, with the inscription Jamestown 1607-2007 and the words quadricentennial marking the 400th anniversary of this foundational American moment, all set against a backdrop that captured the spirit of exploration and determination that defined the early colonial era. And this design resonated deeply with a nation that was itself standing at the threshold of a new century full of promise and uncertainty. The Denver Mint produced 651,616,000 of these quarters for circulation, a staggering figure that explains why most examples you encounter today are still worth exactly 25 cents. But here is where the numismatic reality becomes genuinely compelling for those who understand that rarity in top grades can emerge even from the largest production runs. Because while hundreds of millions of these coins entered circulation, the vast majority were spent, lost, damaged, or simply degraded. Through decades of handling in cash registers, vending machines, laundromats, and countless other transactions that left their marks on the surfaces. What separates the ordinary from the extraordinary in the 2000D Virginia Quarter is condition, pure and simple. And this is where professional third-party grading becomes absolutely essential for anyone serious about realizing the full potential of their holdings. Because the difference between a circulated example and a top-graded specimen is not merely aesthetic. It is the difference between face value and a four-figure auction realization that could genuinely impact your financial situation. The Professional Coin Grading Service, universally known as PCGS, and the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, are the two premier authentication and grading services that the serious collecting community relies upon. And their population reports tell a remarkable story about the 2000D Virginia Quarter that every potential owner needs to understand. According to PCGS population data, specimens grading MS68 are extraordinarily scarce, with only 17 coins certified at that grade level. a number so small that it places these quarters in the realm of genuine condition rarities that dedicated registries set collectors actively pursue with intense competition. And when you combine that extreme scarcity with the enduring popularity of the state quarters program among collectors who came of age during its run from 1999 to 2008, you create market dynamics that drive prices far beyond what the casual observer might expect. For those of you who remember the excitement of collecting state quarters as they were released, who filled those cardboard maps and plastic tubes with each new design, who traded with friends and family to complete your sets, who experienced the genuine thrill of finding a new state design in your change for the very first time. This coin represents not just a potential financial opportunity, but a direct connection to a collecting experience that defined an era of American numismatics. And I want you to understand that the emotional value of that connection is matched by very real market demand that translates into documented auction results you can verify for yourself. The grading scale for mint state coins runs from MS60 to MS70, with each incremental improvement representing increasingly pristine preservation of the original mint luster, sharper strike details, cleaner surfaces free from contact marks, bag marks, or any post-mint imperfections that detract from the coin's appearance. And reaching the MS68 level requires a coin that is essentially flawless to the unaided eye, with only microscopic imperfections detectable under 10 power magnification by trained professional graders who examine every aspect of the coin's surfaces, edges, and strike quality with exhaustive precision. At the MS67 level, the 2000D Virginia quarter typically realizes values in the range of $30 to $60, already a significant premium over face value, but merely the beginning of what becomes possible at the next grade level. Because the jump from MS67 to MS68 represents an exponential increase in both rarity and market value that reflects the extreme difficulty of finding examples that have survived in such exceptional condition. And this is the grade range where the heritage auctions record of $1,610 becomes relevant to your personal collecting reality. I want to take a moment here to address something that I know weighs on the minds of many viewers. The legitimate concern that you might be wasting your time examining common coins that will never be worth more than face value. The fear of being mocked by family members who don't understand numismatics. The worry that you've been misled by yet another internet video promising wealth that never materializes. And I want to tell you directly that these concerns are valid, that the coin market is filled with misinformation and fabricated valuations designed to exploit hopeful collectors, which is exactly why we at CoinVaultX commit to providing only verified, traceable, independently confirmable auction data that you can research yourself through the actual auction house archives, not through secondary sources that might distort or exaggerate the facts. The authentication process for a 2000D Virginia quarter that you suspect might be valuable begins with careful examination under good lighting, looking for full original mint luster that has not been dulled by circulation wear, checking that all design elements are sharply struck without any weakness in the high-relief areas like the ship's sails, the lettering, or Washington's hair on the obverse, examining the fields for any contact marks, scratches, or spots that would downgrade the coin's potential grade, and then submitting the coin to PCGS or NGC for professional evaluation that will give you the definitive grade and encapsulation that the market demands for premium prices. If you have not yet subscribed to CoinVaultX, I encourage you to do so now because we are committed to being the truthful alternative in a sea of fake coin content. We verify every claim through actual auction records. We respect your intelligence and life experience, and we deliver substantive numismatic knowledge that empowers you to make informed decisions about your collection rather than chasing impossible fantasies. And your support helps us continue this mission of providing genuine value to the collecting community. The market for top-grade state quarters has shown remarkable resilience and growth over the past 2 decades, driven by collectors who entered the hobby during the program's peak popularity and have now matured into sophisticated buyers with the financial resources to pursue registry-quality examples. And this demographic reality means that demand for coins like the MS68 2000D Virginia quarter is not merely sustained, but actively increasing as more collectors compete for an ever-dwindling Supply of pristine specimens, a supply-demand dynamic that underpins the strong auction results we've documented. For those of you who inherited collections from parents or grandparents who faithfully saved coins during the state quarters era, I want you to understand that these holdings may contain genuine treasures that have been overlooked because they were simply stored away without professional evaluation, and the 2000D Virginia quarter in particular deserves careful examination because its high mintage means many were saved, but only a microscopic percentage survived in the condition necessary to command serious premiums, making the search both challenging and potentially rewarding for those willing to invest the time in proper authentication. The technical specifications of this quarter are standard for the clad state quarters series, with a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, a weight of 5.67 grams, and a composition of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel. But what makes individual specimens valuable is not the composition or the design itself, but the extraordinary quality of preservation that defies the odds of mass production and decades of potential damage, a quality that can only be confirmed through the rigorous standards applied by professional grading services whose certifications carry weight in every major auction venue worldwide. As we continue our exploration, I want you to keep in mind that the values we discuss are not theoretical projections or hopeful estimates, but actual realized prices at documented sales where knowledgeable buyers competed against each other to acquire these coins. Prices that reflect genuine market confidence in the rarity and desirability of top-grade examples. And this distinction between fantasy valuations and verified auction results is the foundation of everything we present at CoinVault X. Looking ahead in our presentation, we will be examining another state quarter that carries an even more impressive documented auction record, a coin from the same era that has achieved values that will genuinely surprise even experienced collectors who think they've seen every remarkable state quarter story. And I promise you that the next coin we discuss will demonstrate why serious numismatists continue to find extraordinary opportunities in what many people mistakenly dismiss as ordinary modern coinage. So stay engaged because the best is yet to come in our value ascending journey through these remarkable American quarters. The 2000D Virginia quarter also exists in proof versions struck at the San Francisco Mint with the S Mint mark, including both clad proofs, and the more desirable 90% silver proofs that were produced in far smaller quantities of approximately 965,421 pieces for the silver version. And while these proof coins were made for collectors rather than circulation, they represent another avenue of value for those examining inherited sets or complete year sets that may contain these premium versions, with top-graded silver proofs commanding their own significant premiums in the marketplace. For the circulation strikes that most of you are likely to encounter, the key to value lies in that MS68 grade threshold where the population data reveals genuine scarcity. And I cannot emphasize strongly enough that self-grading is notoriously unreliable even for experienced collectors, because the subtle differences between MS67 and MS68 can be nearly invisible to the untrained, yet represent hundreds or thousands of dollars in market value, making professional submission to PCGS or NGCN investment rather than an expense when you believe you may have a top-grade example. The historical context of 2000 adds another layer of meaning to this quarter for collectors of our target demographic who lived through that transformative year, who remember the political transitions, the technological shifts, the cultural moments that defined the turn of the millennium, and who can connect their personal memories to a coin that was literally in their pockets during that pivotal time, creating a nostalgic resonance that enhances both the collecting experience and the market. Demand from buyers who seek tangible connections to their own life stories. If you are currently examining your collection or considering whether to submit coins for grading, I want to encourage you to approach the process with patience and diligence, to research the current grading fees and turnaround times at both major services, to understand that not every coin will grade as high as you hope, but that the process of learning to identify quality and understanding market standards is itself a valuable education that will serve you throughout your collecting journey, and that the occasional disappointment is far outweighed by the genuine excitement of discovering a top-grade specimen that validates your knowledge and patience. The competitive landscape for high-grade state quarters has intensified significantly in recent years as registry set collectors, those dedicated individuals who compete to build the highest-rated sets within the PCGS and NGC registry programs, have driven demand for the finest known examples of each issue. And the 2000D Virginia quarter, with its extremely limited MS-68 population, is precisely the type of coin that attracts this competitive bidding, creating auction environments where prices can exceed even conservative estimates as collectors vie for registry points and set rankings. I also want to address the important topic of counterfeits and altered coins, because as values for modern coins have increased, so too has the incentive for unscrupulous individuals to create fake high-grade examples or to artificially enhance lower-grade coins through cleaning, whizzing, or other deceptive practices that can fool the unwary, which is why purchasing only certified and encapsulated coins from reputable dealers or submitting your own finds for professional authentication remains the only safe approach for significant investments in this market segment, and why the $1,610 Heritage Auctions record applies specifically to professionally graded and authenticated specimens whose genuineness is guaranteed. For those of you who are new to the hobby or returning after years away, the State Quarters program represents an ideal entry point because of its familiarity and the relatively accessible price points for most examples. But I want you to understand that the program also contains genuine high-value rarities at the top of the grading scale that rival the excitement of much older and more traditionally celebrated coins, and that developing the skills to identify these opportunities is both achievable and rewarding for collectors at any experience level who are willing to invest time in learning. The 2000D Virginia quarter in your possession, whether pulled from circulation decades ago, received in change recently, or discovered in an old collection, deserves your careful attention and honest assessment. Because while the odds of finding an MS-68 example are admittedly slim, the potential reward of a four-figure realization makes the examination worthwhile. And the knowledge you gain from studying your coins carefully will benefit every aspect of your collecting going forward, making you a more informed and capable numismatist regardless of the outcome for any individual piece. As we approach the conclusion of our examination of this remarkable quarter, I want to reaffirm our commitment at CoinVaultX to providing you with verified, legitimate, traceable information that you can use to make real decisions about your collection, to distinguish genuine opportunities from internet fabrications, and to build a collection that reflects both your personal interests and sound numismatic principles. And I invite you to share your own experiences with State Quarters in the comments, to tell us about your collecting memories from 2000, to ask questions about authentication or grading, and to join a community of knowledgeable collectors who value truth and verification above sensationalism and empty promises. The 2000D Virginia State Quarter, with its documented Heritage Auctions realization of $1,610, stands as proof that extraordinary value can hide in the most familiar places, that the coins we handle every day may contain treasures we never imagined, and that the disciplined application of numismatic knowledge, professional authentication, and patient searching can transform a casual interest into genuine financial discovery. And I hope that this examination has equipped you with the understanding and motivation to examine your own holdings with fresh eyes and renewed purpose, because the next great find might be sitting in your coin jar right now, waiting for someone with the knowledge to recognize its true worth. If you have found value in this presentation, please consider subscribing to CoinVaultX and sharing this video with fellow collectors who appreciate verified research and documented auction data over the fake content that saturates so much of the online coin space. Because together we can build a community of informed collectors who support each other with genuine knowledge and who reject the misinformation that threatens the integrity of our hobby. And I want to thank each of you for your time, your attention, and your commitment to numismatic excellence as we prepare to examine our next coin, which promises to reveal even more impressive documented values that will challenge everything you thought you knew about modern quarter dollars. Next, the 2006 Nebraska State Quarter, and I want you to picture yourself standing in the heart of America's agricultural heartland during the spring of 2006, when the Philadelphia Mint was striking millions of quarters commemorating Nebraska's admission to the Union in 1867. a coin featuring the iconic chimney rock and a pioneer wagon train rolling across the plains. Designed by engraver Charles L. Vickers. And here is where your numismatic journey takes a genuinely breathtaking turn because, while most Americans spent these quarters without a moment's consideration, a microscopic number of specimens emerged from the minting presses in such extraordinary condition that they have achieved auction realizations at heritage auctions that would fund a substantial vacation, a major home improvement, or a meaningful addition to any retirement portfolio. And this is not speculation. This is not fabricated internet nonsense designed to generate clicks from desperate viewers. This is real, verified, documented auction data from one of the world's most respected numismatic auction houses, where a 2006 Nebraska state quarter, graded MS-68, by the professional coin grading service realized a hammer price of $2,350 in January 2017. A figure that transforms a common circulating quarter into a genuinely significant financial asset worthy of the most sophisticated collector's serious attention. I know that by this point in our presentation, many of you have developed a healthy skepticism about coin value claims, and rightfully so, because the internet is absolutely flooded with AI-generated videos claiming that every penny, nickel, and dime is worth millions of dollars, creating a toxic environment where genuine numismatic knowledge gets drowned out by impossible fantasies designed to exploit hopeful retirees and inexperienced collectors, which is precisely why I am leading every single claim in this script with traceable, independently verifiable auction records that you can confirm yourself through Heritage Auction's own archives, not through some secondary blog or social media post that might distort the facts to suit a narrative. And at CoinVaultX, we have made it our mission to be the truthful alternative in a sea of misinformation that threatens to destroy the credibility of legitimate coin collecting. The Nebraska quarter was the second release of 2006 in the ongoing 50-state quarters program, and its reverse design captures the spirit of westward expansion that defined so much of American history during the 19th century, with chimney rock rising dramatically from the Nebraska plains, a covered wagon train making its way toward the frontier, and the inscription Chimney Rock 1843-1867 marking the period when this natural landmark served as a guiding beacon for thousands of pioneers. Traveling the Oregon Trail, the California Trail, and the Mormon Trail, all routes that shaped the demographic and economic destiny of the American West, and for collectors of our demographic who remember studying these historical migrations in school, who perhaps had ancestors who made similar journeys, who can connect their own family histories to the imagery on this coin. The Nebraska quarter carries emotional resonance that transcends its face value and connects deeply to the American narrative of perseverance and exploration. The Philadelphia Mint produced 318 million of these quarters for circulation, a substantial figure that means most examples remain worth exactly 25 cents. But within that ocean of common coins lies a tiny island of extraordinary specimens that have survived in pristine condition despite the odds of mass production, decades of potential circulation wear, and the countless opportunities for damage that every coin faces from the moment it leaves the minting press. And understanding how to identify these exceptional survivors is the key to transforming your casual collecting into a potentially lucrative endeavor backed by documented market demand. What makes the 2006 Nebraska quarter genuinely compelling from a numismatic investment perspective is the dramatic value escalation that occurs at the highest grade levels, where population reports from both PCGS and NGC reveal condition rarities that serious registry set collectors actively compete to acquire. And the $2,350 Heritage Auctions record is not an isolated anomaly, but rather the culmination of sustained market interest in top-quality state quarters that has developed over 2 decades of collector participation in the 50-state quarters program. For those of you who came of age during the height of the state quarters collecting craze, who remember the excitement of checking your change for the newest state design, who traded with neighbors and coworkers to fill your cardboard maps, who experienced the genuine thrill of completing a set or finding that elusive state you had been searching for months, I want you to understand that the emotional investment you made in that hobby may now be paying unexpected financial dividends if you saved your coins carefully And if any of your Nebraska quarters survived in the exceptional condition necessary to command serious premiums, because the market for high-grade modern coins has matured significantly since those early collecting days, and the collectors who entered the hobby during that era are now the sophisticated buyers driving auction prices to remarkable levels. The grading scale for mint state quarters runs from MS60, representing a coin with no wear but numerous marks and impaired luster, all the way to MS70, the theoretically perfect specimen with no post-mint imperfections visible even under 10 power magnification. And while MS70 examples of modern quarters are extraordinarily rare and often controversial among graders, the MS68 grade, where our documented $2,350 record resides, represents a coin of exceptional quality with full original mint luster, sharply struck design elements, and surfaces that are essentially flawless to the unaided eye, with only microscopic imperfections detectable by professional graders using sophisticated equipment and decades of training in numismatic evaluation. At the MS67 grade level, the 2006 Nebraska quarter typically realizes values in the range of $50 to $100, already a substantial premium over face value that rewards careful preservation. But the quantum leap to MS68 values reflects the exponential rarity increase that occurs when a coin survives in condition that places it among the finest known examples of its type. And this is the grade territory where patient collectors who understand authentication and grading standards can potentially realize returns that genuinely impact their financial circumstances, not through luck or fantasy, but through the disciplined application of numismatic knowledge and professional certification. I want to address something that I know resonates deeply with many viewers in our target demographic: the legitimate concern about being misled by false information, the fear of investing time and money in coins that will never achieve the values promised, the worry that your family might think you've lost your senses chasing internet fantasies. And I want to tell you directly that these concerns are not only valid but essential to maintaining your financial and emotional well-being in a hobby that attracts more than its share of deceptive practices, which is exactly why every value claim in this presentation is backed by named auction houses, specific sale dates, and traceable lot numbers that you can verify independently. Because at CoinVaultX, we believe that respect for your intelligence and life experience demands nothing less than complete transparency and verifiable documentation. The authentication process for a 2006 Nebraska quarter that you believe might be exceptional begins with a thorough visual examination under adequate lighting, checking for full cartwheel mint luster that rotates evenly across the surfaces when the coin is tilted, examining the high-relief design elements like chimney rock, the wagon wheels, and the lettering for any signs of weakness in the strike that might indicate a die issue rather than a premium specimen, scrutinizing the fields for contact marks, scratches, spots, or any other imperfections that would preclude a high grade, and then making the informed decision to submit the coin to PCGS or NGC for professional evaluation that provides the definitive grade and tamper-evident encapsulation that the marketplace demands for premium prices. For collectors who have not yet subscribed to CoinVaultX, I want to extend a genuine invitation to join our community of informed numismatists who reject fake content and demand verified research, because your support enables us to continue providing the substantive, documented, independently confirmable information that distinguishes our channel from the AI-generated nonsense that saturates YouTube. And together we can build a space where experienced collectors and newcomers alike can learn, share, and grow their knowledge without fear of being misled by impossible promises or fabricated valuations designed to exploit hope rather than educate. The market dynamics supporting the $2,350 auction record for the 2006 Nebraska quarter are rooted in several converging factors that create sustained demand for top-grade examples, including the enduring popularity of the state quarters program among a generation of collectors who now possess the financial resources to pursue registry-quality specimens, the extremely limited populations of MS68 and higher grades that create genuine scarcity even within high mintage issues, the competitive nature of registry set collecting, where collectors vie for the highest rated sets and will pay substantial premiums for coins that improve their rankings, and the broader trend of sophisticated investors recognizing that modern coin rarities in exceptional condition represent tangible assets with documented appreciation potential that can diversify a retirement portfolio beyond traditional stocks and bonds. If you are currently examining inherited collections from parents or grandparents who faithfully saved state quarters during the program's run, I want to encourage you to pay particular attention to any Nebraska quarters you encounter, not because every example is valuable, which would be a misleading claim that I refuse to make, but because within those saved collections may lie specimens that were carefully preserved from the moment of acquisition, protected from the wear and damage that degrades most circulation coins, and potentially worthy of professional evaluation that could reveal values far exceeding anything the original saver ever imagined, turning a modest act of collecting into a genuinely meaningful financial discovery. The technical specifications of the 2006 Nebraska quarter follow the standard clad composition established for the state quarters program, with a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, a weight of 5.67 grams, and a composition of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel. But what distinguishes valuable specimens is not the standard specifications shared by hundreds of millions of examples, but rather the extraordinary quality of preservation that defies the statistical probabilities of mass production and decades of survival, a quality that can only be confirmed through the rigorous, standardized evaluation processes employed by PCGS and NGC, whose certifications are recognized and respected by dealers, auction houses, and collectors throughout the entire global numismatic marketplace. I also want to emphasize the importance of understanding value spectrums rather than focusing solely on maximum records, because while the $2,350 MS68 Heritage Auctions realization represents the documented peak for this coin, the value landscape includes meaningful premiums at multiple grade levels that can reward collectors at various investment thresholds, from the modest but respectable premiums for MS65 and MS66 examples to the more substantial returns at MS67 and the truly exceptional realizations at MS68, creating a tiered market that accommodates different collecting budgets while still offering genuine financial upside for those who develop the knowledge to identify quality and the patience to pursue professional authentication. For those of you who remember 2006 with personal clarity, who recall the cultural moments, the political climate, the economic conditions of that year, who can connect your own life experiences to the period when these quarters were circulating in everyday commerce, I want you to understand that the nostalgic dimension of coin collecting is not merely sentimental indulgence, but a genuine market driver that connects collectors emotionally to the pieces they pursue, creating demand that transcends pure investment calculation and sustains market interest across generations. And the Nebraska quarter, with its powerful imagery of American westward expansion, resonates particularly strongly with collectors who value the historical narrative embedded in their collections. The competitive auction environment that produced the $2,350 record for the 2006 Nebraska quarter reflects the intensity of collector demand for finest known examples, where multiple knowledgeable bidders recognized the extreme rarity represented by an MS68 specimen and competed against each other in a transparent marketplace, where the final hammer price represents genuine consensus about value among serious numismatists with the expertise and resources to acquire premium coins. And this competitive dynamic is precisely what separates documented auction realizations from the fabricated valuations that plague so much online coin content. Because auction prices are determined by actual buyers with actual money making actual decisions, not by content creators inventing numbers to attract views. As we conclude our examination of this remarkable quarter, I want to leave you with a powerful final thought about the nature of numismatic discovery and the genuine opportunities that exist for informed collectors who approach the hobby with knowledge, patience, and proper authentication practices. Because the 2006 Nebraska State Quarter, with its documented heritage auctions realization of $2,350 stands as irrefutable proof that extraordinary value can emerge from the most familiar circulating coinage when exceptional condition combines with professional certification and informed market demand. And this coin represents not a fantasy or a fabrication but a real, verified, documented opportunity that you can pursue with confidence if you develop the skills to identify quality and the discipline to authenticate your finds properly. If you have appreciated the depth of research, the commitment to verification, and the respect for your intelligence that defines every presentation at CoinVaultX, I invite you to subscribe to our channel, to share this video with fellow collectors who value truthful information over fake hype, to leave your comments and questions about Nebraska quarters or any other coins you'd like us to examine with the same rigorous standards, and to join us in building a community of knowledgeable numismatists who support each other with genuine expertise and who reject the misinformation that threatens the integrity of our beloved hobby. Because together we can demonstrate that coin collecting remains one of the most rewarding pursuits available to those who approach it with wisdom, integrity, and an unwavering commitment to verified facts over empty promises. And I want to thank each of you for your attention, your skepticism, and your dedication to numismatic excellence as we prepare to deliver our complete SEO package that will help spread this message of verified research and genuine opportunity to collectors across the entire YouTube platform and beyond.